Business Momentum podcast by KBM Associates. I'm Brian Reagan, and I am the strategy guru. Over the next 3 episodes, we're going to explore what I believe are the 3 fundamental components of strategic management. First, you need to know where you're going. Second, you need to identify what's preventing you from getting there. And third, you need to build the culture and the systems necessary to sustain progress. Today, we're focusing on that first step. Where are you actually trying to go? And I'm going to phrase each one of these episodes in an analogy. So, something that you can really get behind and really kind of understand. So, the analogy I want to use for this one is a canoe. Imagine 6 people climb into a canoe. Everyone grabs a paddle. You push off from the dock, and everyone just starts rowing. Everyone's working really hard. Everyone is sweating. Everyone is busy. But no one ever just stopped to decide where they were going. Eventually, someone's going to ask, where exactly are we headed? And nobody is going to have an answer. In reality, depending on who you ask, everyone's going to have an answer. And that answer is going to be vastly different from everyone else. No one is going to have the same answer. And that is how most small businesses operate. Your owners work hard, your employees work hard, your managers work hard, but everybody is rowing as hard as they can without a shared destination. A business without direction or a destination is simply just a canoe full of exhausted people. So, how do we fix that? Well, the first responsibility of leadership is creating clarity. Not clarity about today's problems, not clarity about next week problems, but clarity about the future. What are we building here? What impact are we trying to create? Who are we becoming? What does success look like 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now? A vision gives people those answers. It gives them that destination. It gives meaning to the work, and it creates alignment. It helps employees understand why today's efforts matter. Without vision, people work and people work hard. They're going to exhaust themselves. With vision, people work hard and move forward together. It is the single most important thing you can do is really establish a vision, a destination of where your organization is heading. Okay, so we now have a destination. We're in the river. We're all going towards that destination, but we see some signs that we have to avoid a certain area. There's rocks in the road. We have banks that keep us in line. These are kind of the rules of the river, rules of the road. If you could think of, if you want to put yourself on a road, imagine a speed limit or street sign. These rules are very important because they really teach everybody within that canoe, within your organization, how to act. These rules are organizational values. If vision is the destination, the values are the rules of navigation. They shape your employees' behavior. They guide decision making. They define how we treat customers, how we treat teammates, how we respond to adversity, and most importantly, how we define success. Values become especially important when things get busy. Because guess what? When things get busy, things are chaotic, things are on fire. What do people resort to first? They resort to what's in their character. And that is your organizational values. Strong values within an organization create consistency, and consistency creates trust. So you got to figure out your vision. You have to figure out your values. You have to use propaganda and communication techniques to distribute those throughout your organization. That's all tough. These are all things we can help you with. But once you have those 2 things, what is next? Well, we have our destination. We have our rules of the river. Now we need something to keep us on track. We need a North Star or a compass. And that is a long-term target. We like to call it a 10-year target. This is something measurable, something inspiring, something worth pursuing. It's where you take that vision that's in the air of all the things you want to do and really start to put numbers to it. If we are successful in 10 years, what exactly are we going to be? Maybe it's a revenue figure. Maybe it's a market share figure. Maybe it's community impact. Maybe it's becoming the employer of choice in your industry or some specific target that really matters to you. This is important because when people know where they're going and people know why they're going there and what they're trying to achieve, decisions become easier. Resources become easier to allocate. Priorities become easier to establish. And this further intensifies the imagery around your vision. And this determines the exact path your organization needs to go on to be successful. So just to kind of put this all in context, most businesses don't struggle because they lack effort. It's exactly the opposite. Everybody is working. Everyone's working hard. Everyone is putting in time and energy. Most businesses struggle because they lack direction. They are rowing hard. They are just not rowing towards a clearly defined destination where they know the rules of the game and why they're doing it. So before you worry about growth strategies, systems, org charts, all this other stuff, that is important. You need to have a kind of a baseline, and you need to ask yourself, do I know exactly where this business is headed? And more importantly, you may think you know, but does everyone else know too? So to bring it back a little bit, we've talked a lot about deciding where you want to go and the vision behind that. And yes, it's really important. But to be able to determine where you want to go, you really need to be honest with yourself about where you are today. And that's harder than most business owners think. Most business owners know they're busy, they know they're working hard, but they don't have a clear picture of the business financially, operationally, or from a people perspective. What are your real strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your bottlenecks? What systems are helping you? What systems are hindering you? What does your financial picture actually tell you? Because strategic planning, vision, values, 10-year target, short-term tactics, which we'll get into next time, all of that built on bad information, built on a bad starting point, a bad assessment of where you are right now, is just going to lead to more bad decisions. Garbage in, garbage out. So at KBM Associates, one of the first things we help clients do is diagnose their current reality. We help them understand where they stand financially, operationally, and from a people perspective, so they can build a solid foundation for the strategic work ahead. Because once you're honest about where you are, it becomes much easier to decide where you want to go. This week, a little homework, ask yourself 2 questions. Where am I today? And where do I want to be 10, 20, 30 years from now? If you're struggling to answer that first question or even that second question, we would love to help. It is what we do best. So until next time, we are KBM Associates, where we believe in strategic growth simplified. I'm Brian Reagan. Please reach out with any questions you have, and we look forward to touching base soon. Thank you.